Okay, I'm going to run that and see if that works. Nope, no argument constructor found for the network message. Okay, I'll bring it up in case you can see. Well, it's because this has to be static as well. Because at the point where initialize serializable is called, network message isn't really seen by it, so I have to call that static. Let me try that. Oh, that's because I'll show you that message again because you'll probably get familiar with that. This is because there's already a application using port 6000 on my computer, and that is probably the same one that I just ran earlier. And the way to get rid of that is you need to override the destroy method. Destroy. You have to close the server because it runs in a separate thread. So if you don't close it, then it's just going to keep running even though something crashed in your application. And it should got destroyed to close everything else. I need to close the other programs. I need this up. That's right. Close that. Okay, so I might need to work on something better. Because to make the I record just the editor, and so I've had to move the whole program down, and I can't reach the button to close existing programs that are running. Control Shift F6 that, and that's working. So now I've got my first server running. Turn it up. So just to reiterate what I've done, I've got a utility networking class which has a bunch of static static class variables and static methods. The networking message, which is going to be sent between the client and the server, and initialize serializables because I need to serialize everything I send, so I need to register that I'm doing that. And then I just need to create the server. It's very easy to do that. Start it, and then add the destroy to close the server down. If something happens to simple application. So I will then create the client. Just going to copy and paste server name with client name, and then just change a few things. So that I can let me change that. Control R on that. Change that to client. Manually type that in. Change it down. And that's going to be network.connect to server. You can either type localhost or the IP address of that, which is 127.0.0.1. Host port. And the utilities class. You start the client in the same way. I'm going to create the same box. Yep, that's all fine. I don't want to start it in headless mode, I want to start it normally. And I think that's it, let's try that. Cool, that worked fine. Now what I want to do is change it so that my server is sending my clients some messages. So I'm going to broadcast them to all connected clients. I'm just going to broadcast a new network message. That takes a new message. I'm just going to say hello world. And to differentiate it from each message, I'm going to append the time per frame value. And then I need to close this down and then rerun it. I may need to adjust how I'm doing this. I probably need to close and open the server quite a few times. I'm not really sure if there's any shortcuts for that. And I want the client to listen for messages coming in, so I need to create a message listener. So create a private class for that. Call this network message listener. It's got to implement message listener. And it's a template class which you just pass in the client. Task for that. So we close it like that. Yeah. Control Alt Enter. Implement all abstract methods. I'm going to say if the message is an instance of a network message, because I might have a few messages coming in from a server. So I'm just going to check if it's a network message, and then I'm going to cast it to a network message. Cast it to that, and now I'm going to create another instance variable with a concurrent length queue. Concurrent length queue. We'll take a string, message queue. If you're not familiar with this, this is a way to share a variable between two different threads, because the network message listener is going to runs in a different thread to the rendering thread, so it's not so easy to share variables between them, because it goes into a lot of different lock and key mechanisms, and a lot of the concurrent classes that Java provides are able to take care of that for you, so you don't need to worry about it. So I'm going to create a message queue, and the reason I'm creating that, or a concurrent link queue, is because sometimes you may get loads of messages coming in at once and you're not dealing with them fast enough, and you don't want to lose the messages, so I'm going to queue them up, and I'm going to let the application, when it has time, it's going to pull them from the queue and update the OpenGL thread with them. So I'm going to use my message queue, I'm going to add message, and I had a method getMessage, which I added to my network message class. And then in simple update, I'm going to pull the message queue, message pull. It's going to return null if there's no messages in the message queue. So if I've already dealt with all of them, I don't want to update the frames per second text, as that would probably cause an exception. It would just fail outright. Or just do nothing, I'm not sure. I'm going to set that text to be message, and if the message queue is empty, I'm going to set it to be no message. make it really long as well, so you can easily distinguish it, because the frames per second text is going to be changing so much, you're not going to really be able to see. And I need to register this listener. So add listener, add message listener, new network message listener, relevant. Okay, let's try that. No pointer exception. Oh wait, because I haven't instanced message queue yet. There's new encoding queue. So let's try that. Brilliant. Now you can see getting messages from the server. I haven't really seen any ones that have been missed, which is good, I guess. Let's see if they're running vertical sync. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Hopefully we should see a few more. Yeah, there we go. Because now what's happening is because my frames per second is a lot higher, I'm not receiving messages fast enough because the server main runs, or tries to run at 60 frames per second, and so my program, the client main, might be running at, I don't know, 1000, so it's not going to receive messages as fast as the server can send them. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. It's not going to have any messages because the server's not sending them fast enough for each frame to have a different message to update. So that's why it's doing that. So okay, I think that should be enough for now. For the next tutorial, I'll go over just a little simple game between two clients. It's not going to be much, but it should give you a nice lesson to